All right, folks, we have confirmed it on this Friday, November 1st, 2024 date. We got the XRP escrow being delivered to the ETFs, to the institutions. Some is slipping through to some exchanges and making its way on down to retail XRP holders. But it begs the question, how much longer is retail going to be able to acquire XRP? In today's update, we're going to be breaking down the Q3 market report from Ripple. It's a good one. I needed this one. I know it's been heavy out there, the energy around this election. Market just pulled back below 69,000 for Bitcoin. If you're looking for that 2-for-1 special on XRP, it is available. I got links up down below for exchanges, wallets, precious metals, getting tapped in with our private community. We would love to have you there. We got our Discord weekly call tomorrow morning, every Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. See you there. Let's get right on into the update though, and check it out. So Ripple drops this today. Q3 24 XRP markets report is now live. Last quarter saw major milestones and partnerships, including the Ethereum ETF launch, rising speculation around the US presidential election, and the announcement of RLUSD exchange partners and advisory board. They forgot to mention that XRP got memes. That should have been a headline, huh? But what did they mention? They really, they snuck this one down here. They said, note, at times, Ripple supports or transfers XRP to third parties like ETPs and trusts. In these cases, a reduced XRP amount may return to escrow that month. Until anticipated for broader market entry, this XRP will be reported as, quote, XRP held by Ripple. Hold up. Yeah, when I first saw this, I immediately was like, no way. We knew this was coming, right? Let's not kid ourselves. We knew this one was coming, but let's break this down. Like, what does this mean here? We now have Ripple saying that basically some of the XRP is now going to ETPs and trusts. What does that mean? It means that Ripple is directly funding these ETFs and these ETPs to those that are looking to launch those products going forward, and to those that already have them, like Grayscale, which already has their XRP trust live. And that, I think, doubled in assets under management last month. And then we also look at the large cap fund that they've now applied to roll over to an ETF, right? That's their large cap fund. It includes all of the large cap cryptos. It's a basket fund. They're rolling that one over to an ETF as well. And what Ripple just mentioned right here, read this again with me. Ripple supports or transfers XRP to third parties like ETPs and trusts. Got it? Okay. In these cases, a reduced XRP amount may return to the escrow that month, meaning that XRP is going to be kept in these ETPs and trusts. But who's holding it, right? This is the question that I have. Is this at Ripple custody? Is this being moved over to the platforms themselves, right? To their own custodian? Who are they going to use as a custodian? I haven't read through the S1 filing that 21 shares dropped today, right? But this begs the question, right? Well, who's holding this XRP, right? Until anticipated for broader market entry, this XRP will be reported as XRP held by Ripple. Now, assuming that Ripple's not doing any more options contracts without registering them with the SEC, right? Because per the court's ruling, the investment contracts were the ones to institutional investors like these ETPs and trusts that are getting launched, right? And so if that's the case, hopefully Ripple's learned their lesson and now they're, following along and avoiding the injunction that was placed on them, right? The broad general injunction from Judge Torres, basically don't violate Section 5 again, right? The most general injunction ever placed on a company, basically a meaningless injunction. But I'm joking around, and the point being is that we know Ripple's learned their lessons and that they know how to distribute this XRP to these ETPs and these trusts and their institutional partners. But there's a flow that's happening, right? For the cross-border payments and the ODL customers, it was XRP that was sold off to them, and it was basically being bought back right away. And so that was being returned back to Ripple. And it's looking like in some of these cases, it's like they're moving some to these ETPs and trusts, and some of it is still being quoted as XRP held by Ripple, even though maybe that's not necessarily the case. So, this is where we're at right now. This is a major, major deal that they just slipped in. And this is why I knew they wanted to point this out, though, is because they posted it right underneath, right? They could have chosen all sorts of stuff to add as a separate note. Hey, look at this. but they specifically mentioned this one before you even have to go click on the link to go to Ripple's blog post to make sure that everybody knew XRP is going from the escrow to the ETPs to the trusts and to their institutional partners exclusively, which is why I asked the question. I've been asking the question, and I've been worried about an XRP supply shock for a while now. How much longer will retail even have some XRP to buy at these prices too, right? Because eventually maybe the price just goes up so much that retail can't even open a wallet. You still need 10 XRP. Of course, we can lower the minimums when that day comes, but you get my point. Now, in the meantime, I'm continuing to stack, and I continue to stack with conviction after I read these types of reports. I'm going to just go through the bullet points right here, folks. Q3 2024 market report. The key highlights are this. XRP status as not a security remains the law of the land. Ripple filed its Form C in response to the SEC's appeal, which does not concern whether XRP is a security. Ongoing headwinds from the SEC suggest that its lawsuit against Ripple is a key factor impacting XRP's price. So according to Ripple, they believe that the SEC is still causing damages from their lawsuit. Wonder where I've heard that one before. At the same time that this case is suppressing XRP and the price remains dormant, that is not stopping Wall Street from showing up. Institutional interest in XRP investment products continued on a very positive trajectory, with Bitwise, Canary, and 21 shares filing S1s for XRP ETFs. Now, the timing of this couldn't be better because this actually came out today, the 21 shares filing. That got announced today. Here's the blog post. 21 shares looking to secure SEC approval for XRP ETF amid growing interest in other crypto funds, even though, remember all the people that said there was never going to be an XRP ETF? Remember those? Somebody better check in with those folks because it's here, it's coming, and it's not just one, it's not two. We got 3 on the way with much more where that comes from. Leading issuer Grayscale launched an XRP trust. It's only a matter of time before they roll that into an ETF. In the meantime, they filed to convert their multi-coin fund that includes XRP into an ETF, and that's that Grayscale large cap fund. And we've had that prediction going back for a while now, right? Now they go through some of these broader points. XRP as a matter of law, the law of the land, not a security. Give a quick shout out here to John Deaton. Love to see that. Continuing on down, we go into the XRP markets report, and what we saw here, not interested so much on the price. I wanted to go to the exchange volume. The first half of the third quarter saw substantial volumes averaging 750 million daily before stabilizing in the second half and then picking up again in the final days of September. What happened here is over the 90-day average, we got 675 million average daily volume. So when I go on down here and I show you the wallets and how much Ripple has allowed to be released from the escrow and how much has been sold off by Ripple or moved out of Ripple's wallets, well, I'll skip right to it right now. They released 600 million over the quarter, right? 3 months, each million, they get released 1 billion. Just like today, they get released 1 billion. And what did they do? Every single month, they returned 800 million and they released 200 million. So literally, this is in dollars, obviously 675 million daily volume. But when you compare that with, how much XRP was released by Ripple, this is why I've been saying you cannot say that Ripple is quote unquote dumping on us unless you have a very, very different definition of dumping than I do. It's just not even possible with the average daily volumes and then the amount that's actually being sold by Ripple, which, as I've pointed out, and as I'm going to point out, as the point of today's video is all about, the XRP that's being sold to these institutions is OTC. It's never hitting the market. It's never hitting the exchanges. It's not being reflected in price, right? The price that we're seeing on the markets out in the public exchanges is the market rate for XRP out here in the public retail trading speculation space. What's happening on the back end, it's not that there's a much, much higher price for XRP on the back end. It's just that Ripple has a war chest that they get to deal in and work with. And we're trying to capture how much of this is going towards these institutions. Up until now, up until this year, they were reporting on-demand liquidity flows. And so we were getting to see how much was being used in ODL. And what was it, 2022, where we saw they sold off 10 billion worth of XRP, but bought back like 9 billion. And then, that really, put out the claims that Ripple was dumping on us, when we realized, wait, they're actually buying back 80-90% of the XRP that they're selling. So not only are they returning a lot of the XRP back to escrow, where it gets time locked again for another 40 months because they have about 40 billion in escrow, they're sending XRP back to the escrow, but they're also, after they sell XRP to their institutional partners and are using it for ODL, they're buying it back as well. So it's like Ripple's really managing this treasury, and they're managing a network of liquidity that they're building out, right? That's their Ripple Payments product that includes XRP. This is the network of liquidity that they've been using with centralized exchange partners. What gets exciting is they're about to move some of this over to the AMMs and the public DEX. And I think that that's where, we're going to start to see XRP really move up quickly, is when folks can, really start to see how much liquidity is going to get flowing through the XRP ledger. Now, that's the point here. When we look at these spot exchange volumes, what you see here is that, at the peak, we were up to a couple billion in trading per day, and then stabilized here off towards the end of the month. But it brings us to an average of 675 million per day of trading volume, which did pick up. State of the XRP ledger, they do give a shout out here to Hooks. They say that basically they're looking at programmability on the XRP ledger, expanding programmability on the XRP ledger. Acceler is going to connect them with 55 other blockchains. We've talked about that. The other big one was Ripple RLUSD announcing the exchange partners. You got Uphold, Bitstamp, Bitso, MoonPay, Independent Reserve, CoinMina, and Bullish, including others, market makers B2C2 and KeyRock, supporting liquidity. And looking like they're talking about this. See, this is where it gets interesting for me, this competitive advantage that they have. RLUSD is one of the few stablecoins issued under a New York Trust Company charter, ensuring rigorous oversight and regulation. That was a question that I've had, and it looks like I just got the answer there from Ripple. I was wondering who else had this designation, right? And who else had issued under a New York Trust Company charter. It looks like Ripple's one of few. That's good. On-chain activity did pick up. You take a look, the transactions doubled. We did get spam attacks, so a lot of that was the spam attack. What's interesting, though, is we had twice as many transactions. The average transaction cost went down. So as XRP was getting used more, the price per transaction actually dropped. Very interesting. Volume on DEX dropped by 33%. Okay. And that's volume in DEX in US dollar terms, so that is really affected by the price too. You could have about the same amount of volume on the DEX as far as activity, but if the price is down of the tokens, and primarily XRP being the primary pair, then the volume on the DEX in US dollar terms, that makes sense why it's down by 33%. Trust lines down 1%, number of new wallets up 11%. And I'm interested to see the First Ledger product just came out here. And so we're going to still have to see what data comes in from First Ledger, just that meme coin explosion. It looks like Ripple didn't include that in the report here today. But I want to conclude by talking about their holdings right here, right? This is where they include that note once again about Ripple supporting or transferring to third parties such as ETPs and trusts and other investments. Yeah. XRP that Ripple reasonably expects to maintain in its holdings. When doing so, a reduced amount of XRP may be returned to escrow that month. Until and unless Ripple expects such XRP to enter the broader market through, for example, further transfers to third parties, that XRP is included in XRP held by Ripple. And I wonder, going forward, if Ripple will have a partnership with some of these funds to be the custodian. Gets very interesting there. But when we look right here, Ripple's holdings fell by 250 million XRP from the end of Q2 to the end of Q3. The amount of XRP held by Ripple dropped by about 250 million XRP. The total XRP subject to on-ledger escrow, that fell by 600 million. So as I reported, 200 million per month was basically released by Ripple. And then when we look at their holdings outside of the escrow, that fell by 250 million, right? So we can assume that all that XRP that basically left the escrow was basically put to work by Ripple. And now we know that it's not just Ripple using XRP, selling it off to their institutional partners for ODL and some of the other utilities, but now it's funding the ETPs and the ETFs. And I wish that I would have pulled it up for this episode. I'm going to go back and I'll report on it in one of my next episodes, this Grayscale XRP Trust. They don't got, $1 billion in assets under management in that fund yet, but this is the start. And so you can start to see what's been happening. And this is what's concerned me about playing around with my XRP. Although I was playing with the memes here lately, and I made some more XRP playing with the memes, had a lot of fun doing so, I always worry about Ripple, basically closing the gates on this thing. And when you look at what they've been doing since 2019, they have not been selling XRP programmatically to exchanges. The only XRP that's actually making it down to exchanges is that gets released to institutional partners, some of them being exchanges, and some of it ends up trickling down available for retail. But it's looking like here going forward, a lot of this, just like Wall Street's been buying up and they hold a large share of the Bitcoin. When you look at the biggest holders of Bitcoin, it's governments and basically hedge funds and Wall Street, right? And so is the same thing about to happen here with XRP, an asset that maybe, who's going to be the first central bank to add it to their balance sheet? We've always wondered that. We have plenty of proof of concepts and tests, CBDCs on the XRP ledger, but who's going to be the first one to add XRP as a reserve? On top of that, you have Wall Street. The exposure is just now beginning. And so we're not going to see 1 billion assets under management tomorrow, but this is the start. And I'm going to leave you guys with this question to ponder with. How successful will the XRP ETFs be in comparison to the Bitcoin ETFs, which have been the most successful ETFs ever, if I'm not mistaken? Right. So, right. XRP was dead. XRP's done. XRP sucks, whatever they want to say. And I titled this morning's video, XRP worst performer in the top 10 cryptos, because this is the type of headlines that the crypto media is running with, right? At the same time, everything that we just went through on that markets report, and I'll link it up down below if you guys want to read the full report, is as bullish as it ever gets. And that's just what continues to happen here with these Ripple quarterly reports. As we continue to see, we continue to learn more, and it's nothing but more exposure and more institutions buying XRP from Ripple directly. And it begs the question, how much longer will retail have access to XRP? And even if we're going to have access to XRP, at what price? In comparing the XRP ETFs to the Bitcoin ETFs, XRP's dead, there's no demand. We'll see, because they said the same thing in 2016 and 2017 before XRP dethroned Ethereum and for a brief moment actually took out Bitcoin too, to take that 1 and 2 spot. So it was all fun and games until XRP ripped 50,000%. Not saying I expect 50,000% this bull run, but I don't think we're going to be missing this one. It's looking good from over here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Drop a comment down below, and if you appreciate what we're doing, can we smack it? Can we tap it? And on the way out, if you need any of the community resources, I got them linked up down below or at zachrector.com. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.